Hello everyone, it's me, Lim An. In this video, I'm going to show you a photo voice presentation about my belief towards the role of a teacher. In my humble opinion, I think that the role of a teacher is akin of a lighthouse keeper, which is also proposed by Catherine Poom in her research paper. Just for your information, lighthouse is a tower-shaped building constructed to emit light from a system of lamps and lenses to serve as a beacon for navigational aid. A lighthouse also marks dangerous coastlines, hazardous shoals, reefs, rocks, and safe entries to harbors that helps to prevent tragedy or accidents. Figuratively speaking, lighthouse symbolizes the school or institution which learners rely on. On the other hand, students are like sailors or mariners who are sailing on ships. There are plenty of ships out there, for instance, yacht, ferry, cargo ship, and so forth. Each of them has a different speed, just as the students have different paths of learning. Some of them are fast learners, whilst the rest may require more time and assistance to study better. Besides, each of them serves a different purpose, similar to the student who embark in different careers in the future. It is also well known that every student comes from a different background, has discrepancy in personalities, interests, favorite style of learning, and whatsoever. Nevertheless, the sole similarity between those ships is that they require the guidance and direction of a lighthouse, just like how the students need the teacher while sailing through the rough patch. Historically, lighthouse keepers were needed to trim the wicks, replenish fuel, wind clockworks, and perform maintenance tasks such as cleaning lenses and windows. Sounds tedious and quite a lot of workload, right? However, you are rest assured that the workload of a teacher is beyond your imagination. In plain words, more than you could think of. To name a few, teachers are obliged to write myriad of paperwork, attend different kind of meetings, cater to every student's needs, involved in school administration, participate in extracurricular activities, and the list goes on and on. So if you are watching this, stop being deceived by the illusions or stereotypes that the teaching profession is an easy job with a lot of holidays. Furthermore, lighthouse keepers play a major role in the search and rescue mission at the sea. Like I mentioned earlier, the lighthouse is similar to an institution or a school, but apparently we can tell that the lighthouse keepers do not work only within the lighthouse. Most of the time, teachers work day and night for the well-being of their students, and yes, even outside their workplace and during weekends or holidays. During my teacher apprentice program, I was impressed that the teachers from my school are willing to drive all the way to their respective students' house just to send them electronic gadgets sponsored by the government and NGOs, so the students could join the online learning and not left behind academically. They even went to the school and collect assignments or projects submitted by the students during the weekend. In addition, I believe that all of the teachers are always ready to lend a helping hand to their students, especially when they are facing difficulties and struggles. Believe it or not, I once read about this particular teacher who noticed his students' academic performance drop drastically. In order for him to find out the reason behind it, he decided to pay a visit to the student's house. Apparently, his student had to take care of her 5 younger siblings before she had time to study or even do revision, as her parents were too busy with work. The teacher is so kind that he actually helped this student by taking care of her siblings, so she could study without worries. This true story is actually a tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of heart-touching stories about sacrifices that the teacher is willing to make for his or her students. Personally, I would love to be the one of these noble teachers who shall never get enough credit. They are just as great as lighthouse keepers who risk their own safety and involved in a rescue mission. In a classroom context, teachers are obliged to provide clear direction or instructions for students to follow, just like how the lighthouse keepers who perform geographic alignment of wayward navigational aids off the coast. It is the teacher's responsibility to teach students to distinguish between right and wrong, so they will not commit regretful blunder in both academic field and in their lives. To illustrate, teachers should raise the awareness regarding the importance of education among their students to reduce the dropout rate. Students should be convinced that education has the power to alter their seemingly destined fate and able to bring better life for them and even their families. It is definitely crestfallen when I read about students who drop out because of their family financial situation. They deserve a better life and a quality education like everyone else around them. In addition to that, teachers act as the lifesavers when the students flounder in the learning process. I strongly believe that having a good teacher who guides students patiently is truly a blessing, as most of the students eventually give up when they couldn't understand the lesson taught, but the teacher took no notice about it. It is neither rational nor ethical to presume that this group of students are hopeless and not having any prospects in the future. Instead, teachers should use different approaches to guide them without any discrimination. If you haven't noticed, most of the lighthouses are located in remote, isolated, and inaccessible highlands to provide a better vision. It's like the teachers who stand up front and tall in front of the classroom. The relationship between lighthouse keepers and sailors are similar to the one between the teachers and students. The sailors appreciate the hard work done by the lighthouse keepers to keep their journey safe, and they are more than pleased to see the light emitted by the lighthouse, which means they are no longer wandering in the dark and treacherous sea, but a few miles away from the safe harbour and coast. Similarly, students often idolize their teachers as they are versatile and always bring great joy and surprise to them. To illustrate, students could be easily awed when the teacher demonstrates a certain skills or knowledge they never knew before. I believe this applies to almost everyone during their school times, as we tend to admire the adult around us, especially the one who spend most of the time with us. Students are like sailors or mariners who have to sail in a wide open sea. There are so many directions, so much room for them to grow, and so many places for them to head. They could sail fearlessly and explore the world as they like, but only with the assistance of a lighthouse keeper who keeps the lighthouse functioning from time to time, guiding their way and making sure they all stay clear of obstacles out ahead. In fact, the lighthouse keepers will only lead the students' way, and they are responsible to choose their own paths. They will travel to a lot of places, but lighthouse keepers will remain there forever, always ready to provide guidance and navigation for the sailors, be it novice or intermediate. Therefore, if the students ever run into a problem where they can only see thick fog and mist, they can always look for the light of the lighthouse to show them the way out of the fog instead. In a few occasions, some sailors traveled around and couldn't find their goals and destinations. They became exhausted and wanted to settle down. They may think of the lighthouse once again, which they started to appreciate and admire the job of a lighthouse keeper. They eventually became one of the lighthouse keepers, just like how the teaching professions were being passed down from generation to generation. That's right, it's me that I was talking about. I'm currently pursuing the education course, and I'm more than ready to illuminate paths for my dearest students in time to come. That brings us to the end. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the video, and I am grateful that I can share my thoughts with you. Goodbye and take care.